Hello，大家好，我是 Myan。在刚刚结束的2025 CRL 7月月赛当中，法老依靠着绝对的实力成功拿下冠军。画面当中呈现的是这次比赛的赛程表，让我们跟随法老的步伐，感受一下英文解说的魅力吧。如果喜欢这类题材，也不妨多多支持。话不多说，我们马上开始。
Mo does it back to back, so here we go.
Okay, Firecracker, Hog Rider. I love watching Mo play this deck. I think he's just the best Hog EQ player of all time. He's just so surgical with it. And I love the quick cycle variation. I think there's too often that we see Hog Rider paired with like guards or goblins and stuff. I love the E-Spirit. I love the Skellies with the Mighty Miner. This 3-card cycle already showing its prowess. Going in for the Hog Rider already. No cannon cycle. And another Firecracker too. Getting chip damage, protecting the Firecracker, and also cleaning up the counter push. There goes the Ice Whiz, just like that.
I know I keep saying back to back, and it's also driving me crazy that I'm saying it. It says it on the screen too. They've traded off. I just need to clarify. They've traded off world championships for the last 4 years, but it does feel, still getting 2 championships in 3 years, no problem there. So, Mohamed Light running this Hog Firecracker deck that, yeah, like you said, I always love watching him play this. His ability to, like, do new things with this deck that's been played a trillion times, it always baffles me. And Mugi on the other side of it, I really like him going to just something a little different than we've seen all day today. And honestly, different than we've seen much of at all lately, is the Goblinstein has not been very popular much at all in 2025.
Yeah, Goblin, it's interesting. It's in a tough spot. It's still fairly viable. It'll be interesting to see how it pairs up against this Hog EQ deck. Here comes the Graveyard, last card for Mugi. But he's got the cannon, he's got the skeletons, and a log. I think that's one thing that I really never figured out, that watching the pros makes me jealous of like these perfect Graveyard defense, like knowing exactly where and when to play your cycle cards, exactly where and when to play the log to mitigate damage really well. It's almost like Mo knows when and where the Skellies are going to spawn.
Yeah, and just like, exactly how much elixir you want to spend too. Right. I feel like so many of us try to like hold back just a little bit, or then we find ourselves overspending. I mean, as we are praising Mohamed Light, he is taking quite a bit of damage here. That poison comes in, and now things are much closer than they were a moment ago. 1579 to 1542. And Juicy Mo has to keep doing this, right? He needs to keep going opposite lane with Hog, but then his defenses, it seems like, are starting to get punished just a little bit. As that's a nice Firecracker there, though.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you're so right. Like, he had more damage on the right side maybe a minute or two ago, but he realizes the matchup. He knows he needs to go left lane. He continues to abuse 3-card cycle, not only for more Hogs, but more Firecrackers. Somehow the Hog connects, somehow the Firecracker does, and one more Earthquake will finish out this match. Mo taking game number 1. It's Mugi as we head into game number 2.
We see Battle Ram starting him off here, so maybe like some looks that we've seen today. And there you go, Golden Knight right behind. Mohamed Light on the other side of it, looking maybe like he's going to the skies, as he's got a cage and a bowler.
Cage, bowler, maybe Electro Giants. I mean, I don't know. This has got to be an E-Giant deck in my book, and then Mugi with
Inferno comes down.
Yeah, with some sort of bridge gem. Wait, really big mistake on the E-Giant. Bowler actually gets targeted. He didn't play it down in time, but still, maybe it doesn't matter. Tornado dropping down, pulling in everything. Inferno Drag's a big threat here. Is this over?
He has no elixir. Okay, there we go. He does get the Battle Ram down, but the E-Giant is doing so much damage.
Wow.
And the Inferno's gonna... Okay, no. I was like, wow, is it gonna turn around and get back on tower?
Yeah, I don't know. Inferno Drag's weird. Like, I feel like every time I try to do that and kite it back, it just goes, whoop, it's on my tower. But, yeah, good plays either way from Mo. I feel like Mo is the only one to make E-Giant work in this meta. My chat was telling me, like, a few days ago that he was playing it on ladder. It's like, I'm not Mo, bro. Like, I'm not... Like, he makes things work that aren't supposed to work. I don't know how.
Yeah, I know. When they're like, well, Mo did it. You're like, yeah, well. He's done a lot of things in this game, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is this is a good matchup for Mo as well, I'd say. I mean, look at this. Look at this Evo cage. I think not only is going to take out this lumber and... Okay, wait, it doesn't pull in the batter end, but it doesn't matter. The barbell comes through. It doesn't connect the tower. Meanwhile, on the right side, we have tower down, E-Giant connecting.
Man.
Evo in front of Dragon Cycle, and Mugi has no resets in his deck. It is over. It's a 3-crown. Mohamed Light taking game number 2, 2-0 sweep versus a fellow world champion.
He's played live on stage to a championship twice, but certainly likes that during these remote gameplays as he opens up with Electro Spirit and Monk against the Chef P.E.K.K.A of Katashian. And are we seeing a Goblin Giant deck here?
Yeah, it's so cool. So this used to happen, like, especially when I first started commentating, when I really knew the meta at its absolute peak. As soon as I would see like 1 or 2 cards, I was like, all right, this is probably the deck they're using. When I see the Chef, I don't need to see a card. I just know what's going to happen, what's going to be following up soon, and it's always just going to be P.E.K.K.A, Goblin Giant, then like 4 staples, and then 2 random cards that they just want to throw in there. Katashian, there he goes. Goblin Giant going down the lane.
And the P.E.K.K.A and Goblin Giant will be the evolutions for Hida in this one. Fisherman going for the King Tower activation, doesn't get it. Maybe a half tile off here. I mean, Mohamed Light going for the King Tower activation and just the targeting not doing what he wanted, and Mo taking kind of a big hit there early.
Yeah, and a necessary hit, and just one of those mistakes that we don't often see from him. I kind of want to write a letter to Supercell and say, like, hey, why did you allow him to make that mistake, instead of recognizing that he made a mistake. Just, it feels wrong to say that.
And now Royal Giant down in front of the Evo Wizard. Lightning will clear the Wizard out of the back. RG should get at least 1, maybe gets a second courtesy of the Zap, and that turns things back around. Mohamed Light with the lead.
P.E.K.K.A in the back coming in from Katashian. No offensive bridge pressure coming in from Mohamed Light, just electing to go in with a strong defense. And we know the Lightning's coming down, so we're going to have to see how Mohamed Light wants to approach this defense right now.
Monk able to get some reflection out of those arrows. Holding court there in the middle as DPS able to absolutely shred that Goblin Giant, and now Royal Giant in front of an Evo Wizard. Fish Boy behind to pull the P.E.K.K.A. E-Spirit to stun. RG gets pulled way in. Evolve going to do a lot of damage and some knockback. Arrows trying to stop the damage, but Mohamed Light running absolutely downhill, and with 1 second left in the round, he clears the tower and wins game number 1. Hida has to figure out something here in round number 2.
Mohamed Light going to be playing one of his, I mean, it feels like every deck is a bread and butter deck for Mohamed Light, but going to be running the Royal Hogs EQ Quick Cycle, most likely with the Archer Queen as well. Katashian on the other side. There's still a couple things open to him. And I don't know why every single time I see a Tesla, I want to say RG. It's probably going to be Hog coming in from Katashian.
And speaking of Katashian, we haven't seen as much of him at the higher levels of competitive for a while. He did have that #1 finish on ladder last year. His CRL career was primarily focused on 2v2. He played through FAV Gaming's Asian Championship season back in 2019. He and Kensumeshi were the best 2v2 duo in the league. 26 wins, 10 losses, a 72% win rate, absolutely dominating the 2v2 set. And it was Jack pretty much playing every solo for them. Jack going 27-19 overall on his solo campaign that season. So, you know, it's not to say that Katashian isn't a talented head-to-head player. Your former 2v2 partner, obviously, a very talented head-to-head player as well. A lot of people have done both. But it's fun to see Katashian getting some shine just on his own here in 2025.
Yeah, always an absolute pleasure to see some of these legends of the game still just show up and still have that skill level. And obviously, we're seeing it right here, battling it out with Mohamed Light, the best player in the world. So earlier we saw the Monk get activated, not get the proper chip damage on top of the Archer Queen, allowed it to activate its own ability a little bit too easily. Right here, much better interaction, using the guards to take out the AQ, not let it activate its ability. So great switch up from an earlier mistake from Katashian.
About 30 seconds left in the standard time as Mohamed Light takes off the shield from the Evo Wizard and puts a little more damage on here. And that's one of the things we saw earlier in the Lucas match, was the Evo Wizard was getting up to and even crossing the bridge with the shield still on and adding just that little extra pressure. And Mohamed Light making sure that's not the case in this one, although that Hog should get one, and it does. And as we go into sudden death overtime, Katashian has narrowed the gap to just over 100 HP.
Yeah, and right there, Ice Spirit not getting the chip damage. This is just so difficult for Mohamed Light to get on top of the tower. And as I say that, all the Royal Hogs chipping away at the tower, getting it down to 651. I have no idea how that happened. Katashian has every answer you could possibly think of. The Tesla, Log, plus the Wizard. But, I mean, Mohamed Light, he just finds a way when you shouldn't be able to do it.
90 seconds left. Mohamed with the lead. Earthquake will once again peel the shield. Clean does not use ability. Saving Elixir for this oncoming push.
Right there, beautiful delivery. Cannon plus the delivery will take out not enough. The Ice Spirit is going to help, obviously, but will need to defend with the delivery as well. 452 to 871, 419 HP separating the two players. Mohamed Light just trying to get the EQ cycles. Katashian trying to figure out what he needs to do to get past this defense.
Possibly the last gasp for Akita. Cannon up high. He needs to cycle fast and try to beat out the spell situation. Log gonna be down. Hog doesn't connect, and that's GG, well played. Easy day at the office for Mohamed Light in this upper bracket match.
Quick cycle from both of these players. Let's see as many troops get played on the field and who can just win those tiny little interactions. This is it. This is Lucas for Mo.
And our first time seeing Lucas play Lumberjack on the day, and King Tower activation will be pretty easy for Mohamed. It is one of the interesting things about the change in Lumberjack. I mean, I guess overall, but that's been when the Rage got changed and doing damage, and how that turned Lumberjack into a King Tower activator.
Yeah. And right there, a little smile coming in for Mohamed Light when he saw the healer. Not many players willing to use that card. Mohamed Light going to go with a somewhat balanced RG deck. Lucas, on the other hand, it looks like it could be Golem. It still could be E-Golem. There's a few different variations of this deck. I'm thinking it might be Golem, which would be absolutely insane.
Electro Dragon is so fun. The battle healer, obviously something we don't see very often anymore, and pumping RG at the bridge immediately.
Skeleton Dragons only going to lock on to 2 of the Goblins, so this tower is going to be almost taken out completely. With the help of the Lumberjack, it's going to stay just alive, but tower down to 460, but that's okay if you're Lucas. You could have lost the entire tower. As long as you protect that pump, as long as you're making sure that you're going to be able to gain that elixir that you need, Lucas should be placing it down, and there we go, Golem. First Golem probably of the tournament, probably of the year.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting stuff to say the least. Evo Electro Dragon behind the Golem will clean all that up, and Mohamed gonna put a fireball on that, but now he's got a battle healer, a Golem, an Evo Lumberjack, an Evo Electro Dragon. That Monk's not going to do anything to reflect here. And the Evo does die on the Electro Dragon. Golem drops. Lumberjack trying to make more happen, and now Lucas just trying to pile on the bridge. He gives a shake of a head as that did not work out.
Yeah, I love the concept. I love the idea coming in from Lucas. One of the tiny little mistakes when he dropped the healer, it was outside of the range of the E-Drag, so the E-Drag ended up getting taken out pretty easily. And you just know that Mo is too smart. He's going to place a troop that's going to redirect how your other troops look. So as we head into game number 2, Mo Light going to be running the E-Wiz plus the Snowball. Lucas on the other side going to be running some variation of the Mortar. Without it being the Cannoneer, you have to kind of assume it's going to be like a Fireball version. Some of them run Skeleton King, but usually when it's Princess Tower, it's not the Skeleton King versions.
Lucas controlling the Magic Archer as it stayed alive for quite a long time. Snowball gets him clean up, but Lucas does get that initial chip on the right-hand lane. 25-66. Knight will go down first minute away. Lucas might have wanted one Knight swing there. Either way, he comes out ahead both in damage and elixir.
Mortar coming in once again from Lucas. Question is he going to try and protect it or not? And we see one more shot from the Mortar. He's not really trying to get any offensive pressure with getting it on tower, but he wanted to keep it alive so that way the E-Wiz would be taken out. I like the idea, and now you have one little Spear Goblin that does force out a Golden Knight, just one little Spear Goblin doing its job.
Little Prince setting up, so champions on both sides here. Also, another note for the deck that Lucas ran in game number 1, no champion used. So you think about all those pieces, and I'm very curious. And I love, man, this feels like a bit of a throwback here, but getting a chance to see, I think it's our first giant skeleton of the day.
Yeah, and right here, Lucas should be able to clean that up very nicely with the Knight. As good as the giant skeleton, it feels like it just doesn't get as much value as it like tells you that it's going to get. When you place it down on the map, sometimes you can get the 5 elixir worth of value, the 6 elixir worth of value, but it's so hard to get positive trades, and I feel like it's still missing something. I've actually been running a lot of giant skeleton recently, trying to make it work, and it just feels like it doesn't work very often.
Fetch just isn't going to happen, Josh. Here we go. 20 seconds left. Giant skeleton holding up at the top. This Mortar going to have to get picked up by the guards from Mohamed. And Evo drill in. And starting to chip away and open up the lead is Mohamed Light. 15-56. Lucas needs to find some way to create some damage. You can get creative and try to plan for those later rounds, but the number one thing, Josh, is you have to get there.
Yeah, and right there, Lucas, I mean, just struggling to get on top of the tower. Mohamed Light hasn't shown one of his cards, probably going to be the Tornado. And, I mean, these defensive snowballs always putting in work, but this is a pretty big push. One of the goblins on top of the tower striking away and again locking on, and again another shot. Lucas finally taking the lead, and Mohamed Light searching for answers.
I think Lucas wanted to get the King Tower activation there with the placement, but I think he needed a bit more to get that Magic Archer in space. But he does have the lead now after that connection on the left-hand side. And Lucas starting to try to put a little bit more offensive pressure here. Doesn't quite get the connection on the extra splash damage. Final minute, triple elixir. And Giant Skeleton sets up to the right-hand lane for Mohamed Light. Lucas goes in on the left.
Little Prince in the middle is going to try and take out the E-Wiz as best it can. And another Evo Mortar. It feels like when Lucas plays Mortar, he's got a 0.5 cycle evolution. I have no idea how he's able to get so many of these Mortars up on the board.
Drill in for Mohamed Light, Bar Barrel to pick up, 2 Mortars on the board. NATO for Mo trying to make enough room for damage. Not quite enough to take the lead. Fireball down, perfectly timed. Gonna get a ton of skeleton damage, and Lucas ties things up in game number 2. Spirit for Lucas, Rage in response from Mohamed Light. So Lucas opting for some quick cycle, it seems. Mohamed going the opposite direction.
Delivery on top of everything gets a ton of value right there. And the Ghost fully taken out. Lucas taking a little bit of chip damage, but now is aware of Mohamed Light's deck. Sometimes those Mother Witches at the very beginning of the game can take 2,000 HP worth of damage because you're just not prepped for it. And now he absolutely is.
And Lucas able to very early, knowing not only no NATO, but no Fisherman. So you can really get some more creative minor placements early on in the game. And a second appearance for our newest member of the Clash Royale universe.
I have to say that was a very interesting push, and it still forced out a lot of elixir from Lucas. Going in with the Mega Knight plus the Inferno Dragon, it cost him 11 elixir. He got his Evos in cycle, and it forced out 10 elixir worth of defensive response from Lucas. So I had no idea Mega Knight Inferno Dragon at the bridge was as strong as it was in forcing out responses.
And Ram Rider sets up on the left-hand lane. Easily handled into the Tesla. And just trying to get little bits of chip here is Lucas. Maybe not quite reading the situation correctly there. And this time Spirit Empress gonna set up with the Miner in front.
Delivery coming in on the right side. Wasn't sure if it was going to be placed on the left or the right. And this is where Mohamed Light is finally getting his first big push. Another Spirit Empress, and that's going to stop the Ram Rider before it can even get to the tower. Ice Spirit needs to come down. No Ice Spirit.
Oh no.
Mohamed Light just takes the tower. Lucas, no response whatsoever. Frustrated is Lucas.
Yeah, Evo Electro Dragon coming in like the oven that you left on and completely scorching that right-hand tower. And so Mo has kind of maybe evened up the card count, if you will, into the meta, into what's actually meta.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lucas, when you're using all those cards, I feel like that shouldn't be the way you go. I like using the log, the delivery, the Teslas with Hawk. I think that's by far the strongest one that utilizes those cards. This Minor Rocket deck, it is popular for a reason. It is relatively strong, but there are so many times you just auto-lose because of one tiny mistake, which we definitely saw in that last game. And I don't like using that in best of fives. I think you need stronger and just easier decks in your repertoire.
RG with a Monk Reflection. And let's see if it can get past the DPS with the Rage. Doesn't do it. Lucas maybe overspending here as he'll have to use these archers to try to clean up. Miner goes to the back. Berserker goes to the left. And there are problems all over the board for Lucas.
Yeah, and right there, I think Lucas is trying to activate the King, but I'm pretty sure that interaction, you need to put the... I was taught when I was trying to learn that interaction that you put the Fisherman on the opposite side to bring it across. I don't know, just nothing going right for Lucas so far. Mohamed Light up 2-1 in the best of 5 and just dominating the game so far.
Lucas sets up Monk to the left-hand side. I don't know what the lore is behind the Berserker, but she does look like the Valkyrie's annoying younger cousin.
There it is, you found it. And right there, Mohamed Light just defending these with relative ease. The Berserker just getting the DPS in, helping the Ice Wizard out with its slow. And Lucas, when I look at the matchup and I'm trying to figure out what he needs to accomplish, what he needs to do, I don't know what I see. Mohamed Light's just so talented, and this is such a bad matchup. The Valk, Evo, Ice Spirit, Berserker, and Minor Poison, this is not what Lucas was looking forward to.
And you saw a big shake of the head from Lucas there a minute ago as he was kind of just feeling the pressure of how it's all starting to shake out right now. Going to play the Fisherman high to pull, but that's just poison value. I think that's one of the other big problems here for Lucas that we're seeing, Josh, is now he's at a stage where he has to defend those miners. He has to give poison value consistently.
Yeah, right here, Lucas doing what he can. Going to go in with the RG on the right side, but the problem is the Evo Ice Spirit, when that is in cycle, your push is gone. It doesn't matter what you have crossing the bridge. There's just no way it's going to be able to make it through. This just feels like defeat. I don't see what Lucas can even possibly do.
And just chipping away, and you talk about some of the traits that make Mohamed Light the greatest to ever do it. Patience is certainly one of them, right? You see he knows he has plenty of room, can give up a couple of shots, doesn't need to either super defend, over defend any of these pushes, and doesn't need to put the pressure on offensively heavily either, right? He's not trying to go in really heavy, just happy to take the damage where he can, get a little bit of poison value, get a little bit of minor chip value, and here he gets a whole lot of extra out of that Ice Whiz plus the poison on the mark.
Yeah, and right here going in with the log as well. Fisherman not able to yank. That's going to be another poison down on top of the tower. Probably doesn't even need the log. Probably going to get the log in time. And there we go. Mo Light taking game number 4, 3-1 overall, and having some fun right now.
Well, here we go. Your grand final. Mohamed Light with the chance to secure yet another World Finals appearance. Would be 5 in a row, appearing at all of our solo World Finals. And Sub. Either way, and we'll talk about the points picture at the end of the day some more as we've mentioned. But either way, now with making it into the top 2, Sub is guaranteed 90 points for the second time, which will put him at 180 and firmly in the lead overall for that points leaderboard. And I think that the number 6 player on the points leaderboard is maybe going to have like just better than half that points-wise. So he's going to be way ahead of everybody with only 2 more monthly finals left. So either way, my guess is Sub is going to World Finals, whether he wins a golden ticket now or does it by qualifying on points. But, of course, he'd love to just get it sewn up and win that 15K.
Yeah, he has to be feeling absolutely fantastic about his spot. And right there, Mohamed Light going to try the same thing, and this time it works. I saw him mutter to himself, and he said, wow. And I was saying the exact same thing. Put down the Knight on top of the wall breakers, one of them still connected. I don't know if it's what the situation was, but this time defended it properly and no chip damage. And again, we talk about Sub trying not to be predictable. Again, he uses bait in game number 1.
And the same variant, too. He's not changing things up. So just likes this as game 1 for his BO5s. And first graveyard push in for Mohamed. And the Dark Goblin does finally step into the poison. Spears will add a little bit more to it, and that's a pretty significant chunk of damage plus a swing from the Barbarian.
Yeah, cannot be happy with that. Mohamed Light just trying to make every prediction that he can, even when it's not necessary. He just wants to show you that he could. And right there, that was necessary. Protects his Goblin Hut. And an absolute beauty of a defense and a beauty of an offense. Just putting on a clinic like we're just used to at this point.
Put this kid on the Wheaties box. Our barrel onto the right-hand side in response to the Goblin Barrel. I predicted the defense on that one. No worries.
The next Mohamed Light. Whenever
And
you
my thumbs
choose.
would have to work.
Dark Goblin over the middle, going to be able to take out the Goblin Hut entirely. And so the Bar Barrel does take it out. Has to be worried about the Evo Goblin Barrel. That's exactly what happens. The Witch will be fine. You're going to get a couple chip shots. But Mohamed Light just a little too early on his prediction of the Goblin Barrel coming down.
Into the right-hand side. Dark Goblin just hanging out too far away for Mohamed Light to get any value. Now Poison will come out late. And look at that Skeleton working on the left-hand lane as well. Doesn't matter. Right-hand lane done. Mohamed Light wins game number 1. All right, game 2. Mo opens up with the Fire Spirit. Curse will stop it and reverse it.
Flip it and reverse it.
And a bit of a slow start for this one now. Sub maybe trying to weigh his options, but we might be into the very rare in the modern era staring contest, and no, Sub decides we're not going to wait.
Yeah, every once in a while you see it with the Chef decks and the Cannoneer decks. Not super often where you see it with the Princess Towers, and that's why both players electing to play Mohamed Light using the Mighty Miner plus the Fireball, Sub on the other side running the Xyz. So trying to figure out what I believe his deck is going to be, and I still do not know. Still kind of just waiting and to see what he's going to be using.
Ram Rider into the right-hand lane. And Mo opts for the Snowball and Fire Spirit to stop the connection. Sub cycles both his small spells.
Goblin Barrel, or the Goblin Spell, actually got quite a bit more value than I expected. Because of the Goblin Spell, the Spear Goblins were able to survive and force out the guard, so definitely really like that play from Sub. And Sub, I really expected to see Mega Knight be his final card. Not going to be the case. Going to be running the Boss Bandit, Quick Cycle Ram Rider. We don't really see this because it always feels like you need that tank. It's going to be interesting to see as this game goes along if the lack of tank is going to end up hurting him or allowing him to cycle quickly enough to win.
Well, I mean, what kind of role is the Evo Xyz going to play in this one, right? With a little bit of tankiness, add in the knockback.
Yeah, the problem is with this matchup, there's nothing to really knock back. The Mighty Miner doesn't get knocked back. When it's used on top of the Goblin Drill, it's still going to get value. This is kind of a nightmare scenario for an Evo Xyz deck.
All that gets brought back. Zap trying to slow things down. I like the thought from Mohamed Light of trying to push through with the Evo Snowball. Doesn't get as much from it, so we go to sudden death overtime. Mohamed with the 1 game lead and 600-ish damage in that right-hand lane.
Sub cycling the Evo Xyz in the back, trying all sorts of angles to try and get through. Does force out the Mighty Miner on the left side, so that can be pretty interesting to see how that ends up affecting things. And we've got a push going. Evo Xyz plus the Ram Rider, it's going to do something.
And forces the Snowball out from Mohamed Light to make sure that connection doesn't happen. 90 seconds left, and Sub now back to the drawing board trying to figure out how does he get into the second level.
Goes in with the Evo Cannon, going to be able to take everything out. And elects to protect his Goblin Demolisher. I was wondering if he wanted to go in with the drill on the left side. He just wants to play defense, defense, defense. And right there, does miss the Fireball because of the activated ability.
Ghost on the left-hand side will require some attention. Cannon comes down to pull both. Mighty Miner does distract the Ghost. And Mohamed Light's defense continues to be pitch perfect. And now he decides to go on the offensive.
The double Goblin Demolisher pushes are just so unbelievably powerful. The Ghost goes invisible. That allows the Goblin Demolisher to lock onto the Exi. And another Goblin Demolisher trying to take it out. Wow, these Exis just not getting any value whatsoever.
Evo Snowball to roll all of it back. Drill puts the discussion over back on Sub's side, and Sub just gonna kind of slowly bleed. Mohamed Light patient as always, and now one win away from what we expect to say is Mohamed Light with the golden ticket.
Game 3 on its way. Can Mohamed Light get the sweep? Will Sub take Game 3 and force a Game 4? Let's find out here.
Mighty Miner guards for Sub. Oh, interesting. Getting a clarification on this one. If Mohamed Light wins the golden ticket, Sub's extra would go to Lucas for being the third in this place. But if Sub wins the golden ticket, his old silver ticket would go to the player who got third in the event where he earned it. So if Sub somehow wins the golden ticket, his silver ticket would go to Vitor, who got third place in that event. So that's fascinating information.
Yeah, a lot of, and I mean, just think how crazy it's going to get once we reach those final months of the monthly finals. Here, though, Mohamed Light running his patented Miner plus Tesla plus Little Prince. This is something that he rarely, if ever, loses with. So it's going to be very hard, but we're going to see what Sub has ready for Mohamed Light.
And Mighty Miner switches the field. Log to clear, doesn't do much. Little Prince going to take the Firecracker off the board. Rocket to clear the Tesla. No combination, though. Mohamed Light not able to get enough elixir to get the Guardian out in front of the Little Prince. So it gets Rocket value alone.
And then right there, that's a net 5 for net 5 between Sub and Mohamed Light when they got their pushes. The Miner plus Rocket with the Tesla defended. And the difference between the Rocket damage and the Earthquake damage was just so massive. Sub trying a lot of different things, but I think it's got to do something with Firecracker chip damage. I just don't know how you do that. It's just such perfect defense coming from Mohamed Light every time.
Valk up high. Princess staying alive. Evo Firecracker will clear her off the board. So as we go into sudden death overtime, Mohamed Light plenty of elixir and just already playing the rocket cycle game.
Yeah, pretty shocking with all those troops coming down the field, still thinking that it was okay for him to use the rocket like this. And he's going to defend with the rocket as well. With the Earthquake, that might get a second shot, but no, only gets one shot from the Firecracker.
18-17, 15-55. Miner to the back. Guards get their shields ripped off. And forcing Sub to play the right lane. This is the thing that Mohamed Light really is going to like here. And he is just ripping these rockets onto tower.
Yeah, no regard for anything besides just getting as much chip damage as he possibly can. Valk not going to be able to bring over the Firecracker, so the Firecracker is going to get a little bit of chip damage. No log in cycle for Mohamed Light, so some sort of push, but right there, beautiful E-Spirit chains on top of the Firecracker.
Well, and you just see the way that Mohamed sees the various options, right? He knew that even though he might not be in a good Tesla situation for that hog, he had Evo Valk. So the number of different defenses he has, he'll have something here. He'll have Tesla for this one. Yep, Evo Tesla up high, able to rocket cycle. And this is just absolute shutdown city because of the wide variety of options he has. The victory rocket, and Mohamed Light does it once again. Yet another monthly final, yet another golden ticket. for the Pharaoh, two-time world champion and owner of a very, very nice-looking cat. And we do finally have our monthly champion here, Mohamed Light. Mo, great to see you. It's only been a few months since the last time we saw you. And first, congratulations on his performance. Where do you put the meaning of a performance like today in the overall conversation of your Clash Royale career?
Well, first of all, hello everyone. Happy to be here again. I haven't done an interview in some time since the World Finals was quite some time ago. It was like eight months ago. Anyway, I'm very, very happy and proud to win again because I really do very good in the last two competitions. So this win means a lot to me, and I'm happy. And of course, I dedicate this win to my late father. I am sure that he's proud and watching me right now.
Yeah, that's something we were all devastated for you and your family to hear, and I know that we saw lots of well wishes for you and the rest of your family after that loss, and you know that we all stand with you, of course. When you know that you brought it up, it does raise a question. How was your preparation like for this event? So much going on personally and amongst your family. I feel like it would be difficult to find the ability to focus and prepare for this, or did that in any way give you some more motivation for success in this event?
Oh, actually, as you said, it gave me a lot of motivation to succeed because I don't know, it was just that driving power that made me go like, okay, well, I need to lock in now, and because like it's such a big loss that I need something to be a bit happy about. So I think that was a big part to success this month.
Well, we're all obviously super happy for your success this month. With you and your Clash Royale knowledge here, let's move it to a Clash Royale focused question. This is the first time that we've had BO5s at this level and best of fives in full-on duels. Tell me a little bit about what you took away from the best of fives you had today. And Josh and I were having lots of conversations related to kind of the game planning that changes for a potential game five out on the landscape.
Well, it's actually much different than a BO3. It takes way more strategy because the possibility of decks goes beyond the limit that what we were used to. Just it's maximum 3 decks. Now it's a maximum 5 decks. Um, it was also my first time playing a BO5 in competitive, so it felt very different. But I think Alan was prepared for this, even though we didn't really practice it much. But I'm glad he did well today, I think.
So the World Finals are going to be held in a different spot than you're used to. Do you expect the crowd to be a lot different? Do you think that's going to change how you play in any way? Do you think it gives you any sort of advantage because you've been all over the world? Where does switching it up change things for you?
To be honest, I'm not really concerned about the crowd, audience, or anything like that. I'm more concerned about getting the visa to go there in the first place, to be honest. So hopefully that goes well.
Okay.
Well, I don't think that we'll have difficulty proving that you are a unique talent in this game, Mohamed. Obviously, you've got kind of quite the resume for it. Well, to wrap things up, unless Josh, you have another question behind that one.
No, I have my one.
To wrap things up with this conversation, obviously this format kind of opens up the field a little bit. We've seen some of the players rising up. Do you have any kind of predictions for how the rest of this season plays out and what you expect to see at World Finals this year?
This is a very hard question to answer because, well, it's difficult to predict who's like gonna do well and stuff. But um, like when it gets to the BO5, in my opinion, I feel like usually it's like more fair than a BO3. I think because you have more chances to recover. Like when it's a BO3, you only have 2 games and you're out. But at least with BO5, you have more chances. So I kind of like that. I think I don't know. Well, I think we already saw some new players this month, like GRX retired. So that's probably gonna happen more, which is good. It means the format isn't like old, I guess.
And then one more from the best of five side. Besides you and working with Alan, who do you think gets the biggest buff out of adding those BO5 sets from the field as you see it?
Oh, so me or Alan, you mean?
No, well, you and Alan obviously thriving in the best of five. I'm sure the conversation and planning deck by deck. But who else in the Clash Royale competitive field do you think starts getting gets more powerful with this best of five set?
Oh, I think Joseph ETS is a good shout since he got second place last month with sub as well. So he definitely knows how to manage a BO5. Seems I think he's probably one of the best at this.
Well, we're hoping to see maybe some more of you in sub, and we'll take a look at some of that playoff picture as we get closer to it. Mohamed Light, again, best wishes from the entire community for you and your family at this time, and we're all looking forward to seeing you at World Finals this year in Atlanta.